awesome to have you on this morning. You and I work together. So, I mean, we're going a little bit back into the pool from whence we came.
Oh,
but,
God.
But it's all great, and, we actually had a schedule, an agenda, an idea. We wanted to talk about, community and gaming, right?
Yeah.
Things that make you excited, that you want to wake up for, or at least get to the end of the week in order to do.
Yep.
I guess that's the way that goes. So all things considered, I start everything out with the banner question. Because, I got to research some of this stuff. I want to have understanding. I want to have that baseline for what community is. So in your words, in your mind, and how you think of things, because your worldview is different than mine, what does community mean to you?
I wish I'd done a better job of preparing, but also that would be, I don't want to give you like a cookie cutter answer anyway. So we're just going to roll with this and see where it goes. Basically like the story of my life anyway. Community to me is, and I think I'm the reason I wanted to talk about games is because I think they sort of provide the framework for like a little microcosm of a community.
Yeah.
It's people working together to achieve some common shared goal, in whatever form or fashion that may be. So like, let's see, pull out one of my games. I brought my games, so we'll talk about some of them, but
I have mine somewhere around here too.
They're just so fun. My friends know how much I love games. And so a couple friend of mine went home and they played this game with their family and they brought it back for me. I don't know if you've ever heard of Quicks.
No, I haven't.
It's kind of like a mix between Yahtzee and I don't know. It's, you roll a bunch of dice and you try to check things off, and there's a little bit of strategy and a little bit of luck. But we played this game. They brought this back for me and we played it in the middle of last week. And while playing, we're able to just kind of escape in a weird way, escape reality, get sucked into this thing together and just be. Even if you're not in the same place, which we happen to be, it's sort of just like a shared experience working towards something together, I guess, is
awesome.
Community to me.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, the adage, time flies when you're having fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're saying, that's that bubble that kind of gets created around you. You suddenly get to, for the moment that you're existing there with your friends and, your little tribe, your little community, right? Time flies. You have that bubble of protection. You don't have to worry about what's happening outside the front door, and God only knows this year has been a lot happening outside the front door, So,
ironically, yes. Yeah. I haven't been happening outside the front door. But
hey, to each his or her own, their own. I don't know. So, but yeah, communities. It's it's a tie that binds us. It's something that we come together. We can do, use irreverent games. Like I'm trying to twist this around. The good thing, like exploding kittens. You take a little bit of fun. You take a little bit of I don't know.
Wacky.
Yeah, a little bit, it's not exactly two words that you would normally put together. I've seen kittens used in other memes that I will not repeat here in polite company.
Fair.
But it's cool. You get together, you get to focus on something, and like you're saying, common purpose. We're here to have fun. We're here to have a conversation. So I think even in the course of doing this podcast or this video cast, if you will, a lot of what you're saying. Common purpose. You wouldn't have agreed to come on here if I hadn't asked you. There's that. But number two.
Or did I ask you? I feel like I may have asked you as well, but.
Hey, you're doing this really cool thing. Can I be a part of it? No, I don't know. It works both ways. I mean, cool people is what it's all about. You want to surround yourself with that. So,
yeah.
So that's great. I've heard that definition echoed in very, very similar ways, right? Common purpose, common goals, common orientation, what we're working for together or working towards together. So,
I didn't come up with a good answer. It was too similar. Let's try again. Let's roll it back.
No. But look at it from a statistical standpoint. If we're all saying the same thing, and we're all different, in different places in life, different ages, different categories, different geographies, even, and we're all saying the same thing, then I don't know. That's something that's kind of writ large in our DNA. Then, we're human. We're human.
Yep.
I got that one going for me.
Human
but
people.
We're socially. I'm not an alien wearing a skin suit. Just put that way. But we're all operating on that same kind of functional thing. We're all social creatures. We all want to be part of something. Whether one or two people or a group of 10. So
yeah. And
awesome.
I think something about games that I think kind of can make us feel closer in a way is that it removes the pressure of, this is going to sound really weird, but I think for people who are, especially people who are introverted, it kind of removes the pressure of trying to be like good enough or cool enough or funny enough, because you just get sucked into this other world and you don't have to worry about much at all, which is another reason I think I love games.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about being a weirdo. I can just be.
Well, you're not a weirdo. I mean, you probably could be. I mean, I'm a weirdo.
Yeah. Fine. Everybody says weird. Weird is like a good thing. You want to be weird. So it's fine.
Or it's like that first time you played Cards Against Humanity, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. You know, there's an online version of this too, which every once in a while a group of weird IT folks gets together and plays it. But yeah. So that first time you've ever played, Cards Against Humanity, you get that one card that you're reading and you're like, I don't know. Can I say this?
Right. Or like, I don't even know what this is.
Well, there's that. You sometimes need an urban dictionary at that. Kind of figure out like, oh yeah, yep. Cleveland Steamer is not a locomotive.
Yep.
Kids, block your ears. This is not made for kids.
We might have to check the explicit box. I think when you post this, life's explicit.
Yeah, life is. So, what's like one of your most memorable kind of gaming experiences, or a time when you felt like, that bubble was just impenetrable. Like this was it.
It's every time I do an escape room, like every single time. I am obsessed with them. So I guess to pinpoint a specific one, I was with my family, and for a while I would only do them with my parents and my sister, which I'm 31 years old. That is embarrassing, but I don't give a shit. And so over Christmas 2 years ago, my mom got a Groupon or something for like a local one, and we went in with no expectations. Like I had no idea what they were. I thought they were kind of like, I don't know, that's like a strange thing that only losers do.
Right.
Yeah. And it was a scary themed one. It was like it was called the Inn Creeper, Bluffton, South Carolina, shout it out. But yeah, it was like you had to escape this hotel. The guy was like trapping you in there, and there were like bloody limbs in the bathtub, and we had to get a key out of like the sinkhole. I remember walking out of there, like in the moment, nothing else mattered. Like we were just so sucked into this stupid storyline, but I thought it was like real. Like I thought someone was going to jump out and get me, and that this Inn Creeper was like a real person. And the rest of the day, none of us could stop talking about it. We were just like, oh my gosh, remember that time when Dad opened the filing cabinet and found the weird pill bottle? Like, Dad, that was so clutch. But yeah, that kickstarted, back to our earlier conversation about Kickstarter. That kickstarted my love of escape rooms. And every time I do one, I just forget about the world and I'm in the moment. And it's just awesome, especially because I feel like, on another note, escape rooms are this thing that doesn't really require physical fitness per se. I mean, it's helpful if you're able-bodied in some way, shape, or form, I guess, but it's not about that. It's about your mind, and it's not about drinking. It's not about athletics. And I feel like as adults, it's either like, what kind of cool physical activity do you want to go do? Paddleboarding? You want to go rock climbing? Or, hey, you want to go to the bar? But this is like, let's go do something that works our minds. So yeah, escape rooms, totally my bubble.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't, never actually done an escape room. The closest I probably came was a Halloween thing in Philadelphia, where they turned, I think, the prison that's like right downtown Philadelphia, they turned that into like a haunted house. And
so
I don't do horror. I can't, like, I'm not afraid of blood. That's not the point. Like my startle reflex is high enough that I would probably turn around and punch the guy with the chainsaw.
Yep.
And I'm a very nonviolent person, so it kind of it hits that animalistic thing. Yeah. And I wanted to escape, as badly as possible. Like, let me get through here alive. I've seen enough heads like floating around. Like, just get me out of here. And all context and whatever. So that's incredible that you have these experiences, and no shame about family. I mean, if you have family and you're able to do stuff with them, I think that's important. You build your family as well, right? The people that you interact with. I mean, we're a work family. if you will. And, you know, a lot of those things. So I think that's amazing. And that you found something that really kind of drives that home for you. Like you're saying, created the bubble. You didn't think about anything in that moment. You had fun. You were able to let go. And
60 minutes.
And there's a clock against it, which is, you know, just put you in a long, you know, now we'll lock the room from the outside and then you figure it out, right?
Yep. I think now there's like rules. They have to give you an escape button. You're not really
panic
trapped.
button.
Yeah. But you got to try one whenever we're able to travel again. Next time we go somewhere for work or whatever.
Team outing.
Yeah. You got to do one because I think you'd like it as long as it's not horror themed. We can do, they have like labs and like we did one that was holiday themed. We've done.
Oh, that's cool.
There's like dinosaurs, which dinosaurs rock too. So yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah. Let go of that inner paleontologist of yours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just history of the world in general. It's fascinating.
So I was trying to teach my kids how to play Clue, which is about as close to an escape room I'm going to get right now.
Okay.
There is a Harry Potter themed Clue.
So instead of Miss Scarlet, it's like Hermione.
Yeah. In Gringotts with the Patronus. Like something similar to that. And there's flu powder, and I mean, the shit gets really complicated very, very quick. And you know, my girls are 12 and 15, and I'm 42, old. I'm looking at this thing going, there's got to be a shortcut to some of these, you know, game instructions somewhere, because I'm going to teach my kids the fundamentals of what Clue is.
Yeah.
But flu powder? What?
But is that one of the I didn't.
Yeah, it's like how you.
I didn't read Harry Potter.
Yeah, I read all except the last book.
Okay,
so it's like you can travel through the fireplaces. So instead of having to tap your way around based on a dice roll, you know, you can go. You know, it gets very complex very, very quickly. So we kind of went along with Dave's rules.
Okay, good.
Which involved Clue, for all intents and purposes, minus, you know, some of the more eccentric things like you can't go in this room if it's dude, fuck that, we're going
too
in.
much. Yeah, that's too complex. That's not how OG Clue was.
Yeah, you know, and I think some of these classics, you know, they're being reinvented, right? You know, I have Monopoly. My youngest Emma is phenomenal at Monopoly. You know, she's the get in early, get in often, buy as much property as possible, basically bankrupt yourself in order to get hopefully that end result. And she has won on multiple occasions. Like it's a gift. I would call her a little slumlord in the making, because that's really what Monopoly is about.
Yep.
But she's phenomenal at this. And I always sit there and like, oh my God, I'm going to lose. I mean, I win because, bank rules in my favor.
Right.
Don't cheat. Promise I don't cheat.
No.
We're a little liberal with the rules sometimes on that. But, you know, like, in, you know, Monopoly, that's a whole classic game. I mean, who talks about Park Avenue anymore? Or, you know, or Broadway.
Is that the,
Broadway's, those two, you know, the preeminent. But like getting kids involved.
Marvin Gardens.
It's a yellow card, isn't it? It's yellow.
I think it's yellow.
No, there was orange. Tennessee Ave is yellow. St. Charles.
St. Charles is green,
purple,
I think. Purple.
I think it's purple. I don't know.
What is the green one?
I was gonna say Convent Gardens, but that's not it. That's...
Pennsylvania.
Or
is that the railroad?
That's the railroad.
Now I'm going down a rabbit hole.
No, I mean we can get tied up. We could have a whole session on just Monopoly and the variations of the theme there.
Yes.
But all to be said, like I think the thing that's fascinating with games is so often, you know, we can talk about electronic gaming, right? Xboxes, the PlayStations, and that's
or
the Switch. Is that your Switch?
SNES.
Vintage stuff. I mean, I grew up with Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers. You know.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember the Duck Hunt where you're, as I'm pointing at my thing, I'm putting the gun right on the TV to kind of like.
Yep. And that creepy dog. The dog used to give me like nightmares. I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And the music was like burp, 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 burp. And that scared me too. I don't know. A lot of those old games were kind of creepy.
But we come so far from that, you know, like the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, or whatever, you know, and that's a whole aspect of gaming. That's been so commercialized now too, you know, esports and all the great stuff. You got guys like Ninja that are making $500,000 a month just streaming, you know, 8 hours a day of Fortnite, which God bless. I don't have the dexterity in my fingers nor the fast twitch eye muscles anymore to kind of do that. I feel like I'm having a stroke every single time I try to play that stuff. But like moving back into the escape room and board games, these more like kinesthetic type things, right? You know, where it requires this person to person interplay. You know, it's been nice to see it come back. I think one of the side effects of this year, if, you know, we can touch on current events a little bit, has been that narrowing of what we can do, right? You know, now we're not shut in, but we're restricted in our movements, our social interactions. And, you know, how have you seen that play out in your life where, you know, you've had, you know, an aspect like saying, you can't just run to a bar anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just go off and do X, Y, and Z. And how has your intentionality around using games as social interaction been important to you? Like, what have you seen from that side?
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's definitely experienced a resurgence, if you will, during this time, which, I mean, a lot of people are always, it's important to look for the silver lining in a lot of difficult situations. And I think people tend to have a pretty positive attitude with that in mind. But I feel lucky. I feel selfish because there's my cat too. This exploding kitten little boy over here.
Wow, right there, man.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can throw a burrito at her.
I know, it's whatever. But yeah, I think luckily for me, because I love games so much, I have been very fortunate that they're coming back as a way to connect people. But going back to, interestingly, like virtual types of games, I love the old school stuff as much as the next person, but it's a little bit difficult to do if you're, you know, talking like we are on a Zoom or, you know, a hangout of some sort virtually. But I have been able to, even friends that are down the road, when we were really, really locked up for, you know, I'm not leaving my house at all, we were able to get video games shipped to our houses and then connect online with, you know, headsets. And just, I think I told you once before, I played like Red Dead Redemption. I just got this game that I didn't know anything about. It's kind of old school. You ride a horse like in a fake world in the Wild West. But my friend Ryan and I just go on and we have these little characters. I should have brought the mug that has our faces on it, but we have these little characters and ride around on horses and we do missions together while we're talking. Nobody else can hear us. It's just the two of us. Sure. So instead of like making new friends or, you know, being a part of the online community, which you absolutely can do with video games, and I think was thought to be potentially a bad thing in the past. Like, I think parents used to be like, video games, boo, bad, it's taking you away from the world. Yeah. But now that there is this online component, you're able to sort of have an online community, which I think is nice. But as a result of this situation we're in, my friend and I were able to connect, not face to face, but our little avatars were able to hang out and ride horses, and we just shoot the shit. And it's nice. Like, I hadn't played video games in, I don't even know how long. Like you're saying, the dexterity thing, like I can't do the looking or like the two camera angles. Like I'm always looking the wrong direction. My character always gets shot. Like I'm not good, but it's still a funny way to get together when we can. So I guess that's kind of how I've seen it play out. And trivia, I used to love going to trivia since we can't go to bars. But a lot of the trivia, like Geeks Who Drink, they've adapted, and now there's online trivia, and you know, you get to see faces of people that maybe you would have seen in the bar, but you know, it just happens to be in a little square gallery view. But yeah, it's interesting how resilient people have become in their desire to be social when we can't be social. And I think games are kind of this fabric or mechanism to connect us and keep the social element going when we can't be physically together.
I think at the beginning, we were out of toilet paper, napkins, paper towels. And oddly enough, I think one of the other things that people were doing around, I think Milton Bradley put that out there. I mean, there's a vintage name for you. Milton was saying, hey, we're out of games. We literally can't produce Uno fast enough. We can't produce all these things fast enough because, you know, people will suddenly went, oh, we're going to be, you know, cabin fever. We're going to be stuck in, you know, and it was interesting that we ran into some basic paper necessities, which thank God that's back.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Got to talk to the Amazon guy. He's got to stop dropping things off and letting people steal my TP. It's kind of a problem. But
did that really happen?
Oh yeah, lost a whole 24 pack, you know, Charmin Ultra. You know,
hit up Lori. I know she's got
Yeah.
like a year's supply.
No. We have friends that we can rate their, their pantries for.
Yes.
But the other thing that, he kind of pushed on was like, hey, listen, if we're going to be stuck in, we might as well have something to do. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun how we or it's interesting to me how we gravitated to something that, as you've said, it created that bubble. It created
Mm-hmm.
that world that I could escape into, or we could escape into. It created this kind of, tightly interwoven social thing that we could do
Yeah.
together. It didn't require us to sit there and, have our eyes bleed from watching too much Netflix or Prime or Hulu or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's got its place. I don't do nearly enough of that.
I think you're probably doing enough.
I get a tan from my screen anyway from work. So, but we pulled back and went to something that was completely analog, or more analog than not. Right? We're engaging. We're looking across the table at our significant others, our children, our sisters, our siblings, whatever, and we're doing something that has momentary meaning, that has that kind of unifying effect. And so, it's great to hear that you're able to even distance, you were able to take those old consoles, those games, what you're doing, and be able to kind of carve your own community out.
Yeah.
In that kind of hollow of this year,
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel fortunate that there's something, it's like the beauty of games. Like, it's nice. Like, Milton Bradley should pat himself on the back. I don't think he's still alive anymore, but to create an escape for people who really, like, it's sort of the same as reading, which I don't do enough of. Speaking of things I don't do enough of, or we don't do enough of. But just creating a space for people to have fun. Like you said at the beginning, like there's so much seriousness, and there's a place for seriousness. And I fully believe that, but I also fully believe that life cannot be taken that seriously, because it's not like, if you stop and think about like what you're doing, which sometimes I stop and think about what I'm doing with my life and have like an existential crisis. But when you like,
we all do.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll talk about that later. But if, you just like stop and appreciate little moments and little bits of fun. And that's exactly what games are able to do, is just maybe give you a little bit of a reminder that like, you're okay. You're doing all right. And you can laugh with people that you love, or, people you just met. And so they just facilitate this wonderful, wonderful thing. So I thank you, Milton Bradley. Hats off to you and all those other, who else makes games?
So many people.
So many people.
I immediately run the Electronic Arts and Blizzard and,
yeah.
Bethesda, who got just bought out by Microsoft the other day. And I run the electronic stuff because obviously what you and I do.
Yeah.
I tend to be a little bit more focused on that side of the world. But yeah, Uno, whoever makes Uno.
Yeah. I don't know. I really feel like I should know.
This is made by Exploding Kittens. So there's that.
There's that.
Throw Burrito, Pursuit. The dodgeball card game that is made by...
I don't know anything about that, but didn't you used to have a huge blow up burrito?
Yeah. When you say it like that, it makes me really want to talk about it. Yes, folks, I had a huge inflatable burrito in my apartment. It looked a bit like this and made for an interesting replacement of my face on Zoom calls.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So story on that one. So this is a game by the same folks that did Explode. It says right there, creators of Exploding Kittens. So I got the tester pack. So as these guys, this is the final copy of it, or final version, if you will. But they had the party pack that came out, and so they wanted to have these Throw Burrito party experiences. Now, I'm very comfortable in my masculinity and my aloneness, so I basically, I got the tester pack, which came with those birthday signs, you can string around. Came out with a Throw Burrito birthday sign, confetti, little party poppers, and all kinds of shit, including, but not limited to, giant inflated burrito or inflatable burrito. I also noticed that, and note that the pre-test version of these little burrito gals, things was actually said throw burrito, and it was a mango.
What?
Yeah, mango does not equate to a burrito in my mind. Even growing up in SoCal, there's no comparison.
No.
But so they were mangoes. I still have the mangoes floating around here somewhere. My kids like to throw them at me every once in a while. They'll just whip it out. I'm like, you get hit by a mango. So
got to make use of it.
That
good
is
job.
that is the genesis of the giant inflatable burrito. Which
it looked like like when I first saw it, I thought you were getting into boxing at home.
Oh yeah, like a weeble or wobble or
Yeah, whatever those things are.
Things.
But yeah. So have you taught your girls how to play that, or they just throw?
We're getting there. We're getting there. Eventually, I think the attraction right now is that they can throw things at me.
Yes.
I also got them little Nerf pistols.
Nice.
Yeah. I regretted that decision almost immediately because
you'll be coming around the corner and just.
Oh yeah, you get a face full of dart. Like,
yep.
Suckers hurt, mind you.
Yeah.
But
do they have because they have little plastic things on the end, or?
Yeah. Decisions were made. Can't say that they were good decisions. They're decisions. I now keep the darts in my room behind that door.
That is very good.
I am the armory.
Yes.
You're not going there. So, all right, games,
mm-hmm.
socialness.
Yes.
In a world that is increasingly antisocial. Leave us with a parting thought of wisdom.
Lynch. Oh my goodness! Again, putting the pressure on.
It wouldn't be me talking to you if there was no pressure, right?
Yeah. No. Yep. That makes sense. Parting wisdom. I don't know. I mean, it's not really wisdom. I just, if you're not into games, give them a try. Like, all games are not created equal. They are, that was a weird way to say that, but they're all different. Mm-hmm. And like, if you don't like video games, pick up, a bingo card. I'm sure there's some virtual bingo going on right now.
I win a lottery.
Yeah. That too. Gambling is no good, but just just gotta say that. But
whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, exactly. But like, just pick something up, give it a try. I think you'll find that, games they're not only made for kids. They're not only made for, our grandparents. They are a way to enjoy yourself and not escape, but just not be thinking about stressful things for a little bit. And yes, granted, some games like Monopoly can be very stressful and very time consuming. But I love them. And I think I have been reminded, I was on a walk. This is a long tangent, sorry, but I was on a walk. I've been going on a lot of wine walks over the past however many months. And I heard adults like laughing, and I couldn't see where they were. I was looking all around. There weren't any fences blocking anything, so I would have been able to see them. And it turns out they had built a tree house in their backyard and were hanging out in the tree house. And I just feel like that is such a beautiful, like, I guess, comparison to games, and that doing things that bring back like a childlike sense of wonder, go for it. Like, no, we're not kids. And yes, we have responsibilities and we need to take care of them and be adults. But doing something that sort of reminds you what life might have been like, or what it was like when you were younger, if those are happy memories, it's okay. And you should lean into that, because I think there are so many benefits to playing. Like, live life a little bit more playfully, and you may be surprised at how you feel. So I guess that's my parting advice.
Live life more playfully. I like that. That's going to be the title of this, by the way. I'm
cool.
Yeah, look at you did my work for me. I don't have to sit there and come up with something fascinating, because that's it. Live life more playfully. We build community through what we do. Mm-hmm. Games are a way to build smaller communities and within the larger context. It allows us to unite over something that doesn't have any pressure to it. It doesn't have big ticket items. It's not involving a ton of money, unless you play poker, but whatever. It's not getting, it's buffering out the world, just tuning it out, allowing yourself to be that. So live life playfully. I think that's amazing. Kelly, I appreciate your thoughts so much on this. It's great to hear your perspective. It's great to see you smile and be happy with all this stuff. The world is going to continue to turn. The world's going to continue to be the place that it is, and people are going to continue to be who they are. But within it, you found a little island. You're rocking it. You're having fun while doing it. And I really appreciate your time today. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It's good to see you smile too, and talk about something that's not work. So
I agree. So let's work.
Keep
more
on
play.
Being playful. Yeah. Virtual high five.